Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be an update to a haul I did a while back. A couple months ago I did a haul and I called it What's in My Freelance Makeup Artist Kit, but at that time I hadn't used anything, so I really couldn't have given you any reviews or anything. But now it is June and I've used every single product in my makeup artist kit, and I'm going to come back and review everything and kind of give you guys an update haul. So here is what we're going to be talking about today. I have a ton of stuff to review. I will link everything that I'm talking about in the description box below with the prices, and I will also link the What's in My Makeup Artist Kit haul below the original one. First things I have to review are some brush kits, and when I had purchased my makeup kit I only got 2 kits, but my recommendation to you is 2 kits of brushes is not enough. So I'm not really sure of the names anymore. That's why I highly recommend you go down there and check in the description box. But I got both of my brush kits from Morphe, and I got one of them is called the Deluxe Badger set, and then the other one is something else for sure. I realized that I needed more brushes than just those 2 sets that I got, which I do highly recommend. I think they're very high quality brush sets. They come with an extremely good range of different types of brushes for different purposes. Creme Cosmetics has a brush kit, and I do highly recommend it. And I did do a review over them. I forgot about that. Yeah, I did a Creme Cosmetics haul, like a little haul and review quite a while back. So I will link that below. So on to this big bad boy right here. This is the bag I got, and I did show it in the haul. I'm not really sure what it's called, but it's also from Morphe. And when I first pulled it out, I was like, what? That little thing's not gonna hold anything. But literally almost every single thing in my kit is in this bag right here, and I believe it was like $18. And they do have bigger ones, they have smaller ones, but they do have really huge ones that kind of get up there in price. So I got 3 different eyeshadow palettes from Morphe. I got the 35N, the 35S, and the 35W. So I'm going to show you guys each one. This is the 35W palette, and this is probably my favorite. So this has a mixture of mattes and shimmers in this. You can do so many different looks with just this palette. And I mean, there are some, you know, like kind of not so good shades in here, but for the most part, this is all like a hits palette. So yeah, I definitely recommend the 35W for your kit. And I got the 35S palette, so this is the 35 Smoky palette, and I love the variety in this. These are such good shadows, and this palette does not get enough hype. This is such a good palette. It has a really bright pops of color. It has some neutral shades in there. It has some absolutely gorgeous purpley, plummy shades in here. It has some greens, some like neutral shades, some browns, some blacks, some blues. Oh my god, it's so pretty. If nothing else, these 2 palettes right here are so worth it. The next palette I have is a 35N palette. This is identical to the 35W, except all the shades are mattes. I do like it because it does have a really wide variety of matte shades. So for that reason, I do recommend it, because it has a lot of matte shades that this one doesn't have. But I don't know. Some of the shades aren't that pigmented. There are some, you know, hits and misses in this palette like most things have. So the next palette I have from Morphe is the 9C palette. This is the highlighting and contouring palette. I highly recommend this palette. It has your matte highlighting shades, it has your matte bronze and contouring shades, and it has one shimmery highlight that works good on pretty much every single skin tone. The only complaint I have is that these powders are very blendable, and they're very soft, but sometimes too much pigmentation can hurt you when you're putting on makeup on other people. So that's the only thing I'll say about that, but it's an extremely good palette, especially for the price. I think it's like $22. The next palette I have is a brush palette from Morphe. This is the 9B palette, so there are 9 blush shades in here. Some of them are matte and some of them are shimmer. I don't really know how I feel about this. I love the variety in it. You do have a mix of pretty much everything you can think of, and this could work for so many different skin tones. The only thing is, I don't know, they're not super pigmented. Like, I expected a whole lot more out of them. They're actually kind of hard. I'm just not the biggest fan of this. You do get 9 shades in here. It's only like $22, so it is a really good price. So the next few palettes I have are foundation palettes, and these are all from Camera Ready Cosmetics. These are the Graftobian HD Glamour Cream palette. So you have a neutral undertone palette, a cool undertone, and a warm undertone. So you pretty much have something for every single person. The reason I got these obviously is because they are makeup artist quality, and it was a pretty good deal. I got these 3 palettes, a concealing palette and a lip palette, for $245, and regularly these are $80 a piece, and you do get 18 shades in here. But personally, on other people, I feel like I have to use so much product with these. And I don't know if it's just the way I'm applying it. I don't know if I'm not applying it the most correct way. But I just feel like I have to really dig into the pan to get like to get enough product to cover their entire face. And it's kind of like that too when I'm using it on myself. I feel like I have to use a lot of product. They are highly pigmented and they're very, very creamy, and they seem to work on a really wide variety of skin tones and skin types. But just with my experience with them, I do not enjoy applying them. If you use up one color, like one pan, then almost that entire palette could be useless to you, because when most girls are going to prom or getting married, they're tan, and usually a tan makes you have a warm undertone. Like, this is the warm palette, and almost every girl I've done has been somewhere in this range right here. So I've really dug down deep in those, and I'm kind of worried about what I'll need to do when I run out of those shades. I don't want to pick up this entire palette again just to replace like one or two shades. So that's the only thing I don't like about having these types of palettes instead of just having individual bottles of stuff. Personally, I just think liquids are a whole lot better. I think I would use a whole lot less product if I had liquid foundations instead of creams. And I also feel like I have to build them up quite a bit to get like a full coverage application. I feel like I spend 10 minutes blending out their foundation, and when you're in a hurry and you're on a time schedule, you don't have a whole lot of time to kill. So the next few products I have are like setting spray, prepping, priming type products. So I have the Graftobian makeup setting spray and the Cinema Secrets moisture spray. So the moisture spray is supposed to give you more of a dewy finish. It's supposed to eliminate any cakiness and powderiness on the skin. And then the Graftobian makeup setting spray is supposed to improve the wear of your makeup and keep it on all day long. The one complaint I have about both of them is that the power of them is very, very strong as far as like how it sprays out. So this is the Graftobian one. I will spray it on my face. I don't want to waste it. I don't know if you guys could see, but it was very, very concentrated. It wasn't like a wide burst of spray, but this feels like glue on your face. Like, and I mean that in the best way possible, because that means it's going to really lock everything in place. Whereas the Cinema Secrets moisture spray, I've heard a lot of people say this is a dupe for the MAC Pro Fix Plus, but it's better than that. I haven't used the MAC Fix Plus, but I don't know. I don't really know how things wear on people, so I can't really say a whole lot about this. I have used it once or twice on myself, and I couldn't really tell a big noticeable difference. Both of these are pretty good price. I think both of these were under $12, but I don't know. I just feel like the Cinema Secrets one does more of what it's supposed to do as far as improving the wear, and it will mesh all the liquids and powders together on your face and kind of eliminate any cakiness and stuff. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about these, but I think I would recommend the Graftobian one over the Cinema Secrets one. Next thing I got is from Mehron. This is the Skin Prep Pro. This is supposed to be a kind of like a sweat-proof toner. You're supposed to apply this before foundation, like a primer. This is supposed to kind of absorb the sweat before it even comes, kind of like a dry shampoo for your face. But I've read a lot of reviews of people using this saying that you shouldn't use a primer or a moisturizer with this because it can flake and look really cakey under your makeup. So that's kind of where it becomes a problem for me. I have used this with moisturizer and primer on people's skin and on my own. I did notice sometimes if you apply too much, it can start flaking off. I did use this on myself, and the day I did use it, I only used it once, but I didn't sweat it all that day in my normal places. So I do think this is something definitely worth checking out and putting in your kit. It was only like $8 or $9, so that is amazing. Okay, so the next thing I have are eyeliners. These are the Colourpop gel liners. These can cause you some issues. These are my favorite eyeliners for the fact that they are extremely long wearing, and once they set, they do not budge. If you're like me and you're not like 100% confident with applying eyeliner on other people, then you are definitely not going to be able to use these, because once they set, it's like they do not move anymore. Like when you start pulling your eyeliner brush with it, it's like it kind of pulls off the product. It's so crazy. So I don't recommend these unless you are super, super comfortable with applying eyeliner on people. I especially don't like these for drawing on wings, because wings are something that take time. I don't care if you are very, very good at it or if you are a novice at it like me. And these give you absolutely no leeway room whatsoever. However, I do recommend these for the waterline, because the waterline is definitely a place where you want your eyeliner to set and not move, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time to apply it. But the eyeliners that I do recommend, that I actually don't have in my kit yet, but I do need to get my hands on them, the Makeup Geek gel liners are so amazing. They're very long wearing, but they're very, very creamy. I mean, these are creamy too. Don't get me wrong, they're very creamy. But with the Makeup Geek gel liners, you have a little bit of wiggle room. Like, they don't set and completely dry down. You can still work with it, and if you mess up, you can fix it. I do think the Makeup Geek gel liners are amazing for not only the top lash line, but for the waterline as well, because they're also very, very long wearing. And then I have the RCMA pre-foundation lotion, I believe. I actually threw away the bottle and put it into this because it was so obnoxious to pour it out, because there was no pump or anything to kind of prevent it all from pouring out. I mean, it's just a moisturizer, so there's not a whole lot I can say about it. It does give you a good hydrated base to start with, and I haven't noticed it getting oily on anybody's skin. It seems to work for all skin types, so I think that's great. The next thing I have is the Morphe Brushes Brow 8 palette. This is a brow palette, obviously. So you get 6 brow powders in here, you get a concealer, and you get a wax. First of all, I do not like the wax. It is very obnoxious, and the powders just get in it like crazy. The brow powders are good, and I do like the variety it gives. I will say that these 2 shades look similar and these 2 shades look similar, so I do wish that each shade was completely different from one another. But I do think this is a good palette to have. But I also do think that it's worth checking into the Colourpop brow pomades, because brow powders are obviously more natural products. I do think for special occasions like proms and weddings, where people are wanting a more dramatic look most of the time, that brow pomades are like, they kind of pack more of a punch, and they just really go with a nice dramatic look. Sometimes these are just way too natural for a dramatic look, but I mean, they are pigmented. Like, I don't have a problem with pigmentation or anything, so there's what a few of them look like. I do like this. It's like $15 at morphebrushes.com, so I highly recommend something like this for your kit. And the Colourpop brow pomades are only like $6, so I recommend checking them out too. The next thing I have is an eye primer. This is the Mehron Primed Eye Primer. This stuff is amazing. First of all, it dries down very, very fast. It is transparent, so it's not going to conceal the eyelids. There's what it looks like. You guys can even see. But once this sets, it sets and it mattifies and it dries down really fast. And I just find that everything goes on so much smoother, and it just, everything blends out so well with this stuff. I wish they made it in a bigger size. This is just a full size, so I really don't like that aspect of it. It is $12. So I think, no, it might be $14. So for mascara, I picked up the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black Mascara. Kim Kardashian's makeup artist uses this, and they've really promoted it a lot. So that's why I picked it up, and plus it's one of the only L'Oreal mascaras I've tried that doesn't flake. I do think this is just a really good standard, very, very black, rich formula. It's only like $6 at the drugstore. It's very accessible and easy to get your hands on. I don't know. I just do not recommend getting a $20-some mascara, because mascaras are going to be something that you run through so fast. I do like this mascara. It does seem to work on pretty much everyone. So the next couple of things I have are setting powders. I have the Ben Nye Neutral Set Colorless Powder and the Ben Nye Luxury Banana Powder. So I don't like these. I know these are good for makeup artists because they come with such a large amount, and I feel like this would take me forever to use up. But with the translucent powder, the neutral set powder, I just feel like it's so drying and matte. I know it's for like photography and videography and all that stuff, but I feel like you could get flashback so hardcore with this, because it's translucent, but it almost has a white cast on the skin, and I just don't like how it blends out. Like, it's not super finely milled or anything. It actually feels like a really, really cheap powder. I personally do not recommend the neutral set powder. I think it sucks. It just doesn't make the skin look really soft and supple. It kind of makes it look a little bit dry. On almost every single girl I've done, their face has looked heavy and cakey before I've used setting sprays. The NYX HD Press Finishing Powders are so good. I recommend the translucent one and the banana powder one. They're absolutely amazing. They don't have flashback. They're super finely milled and so soft. Then the Ben Nye Banana Powder, I also hate this. It's the same texture. I had the same issues with it. The next thing I have is concealers. This is the Graftobian High Def Glamour Cream Corrector Palette. So this is a concealing correcting palette. This came with that big old kit that I got for $245. So it comes with an orange shade, a yellow shade, green, a salmony peach color, like a pinky shade, and then just a regular very bright fair shade. I do like these. A little bit of these go a very long way. And then for highlighters, I've been using the Artist Couture Diamond Glow powders. I have the shades Illuminati and Conceited. Illuminati is a really pretty silvery champagne, very, very universal for all skin types, and then Conceited is like a pretty rose gold, which is very, very pretty for like tanner skins. But they're just so sparkly and glittery, and I didn't really notice it the first couple of times I used them, but I think that's why I stopped using them, because they're so intense, and most people are afraid of really, really glittery, sparkly highlighters, especially for photography. I do like the fact that you get a lot of product. It's very pretty if you use a very small amount, but it's also very hard to get a small amount with this. I don't know, it just seems to be too intense for what I need to use it for. The next thing I have is this little palette from Morphe Brushes. It came with the little spatula too. I think this was $13. I do like this, and it does what it's supposed to do. Like, this is like a little mixing palette. It's pretty easy to clean, I will say that, but when you clean it, like, it looks dirty. But I also think this is pretty nifty because it can turn into a mirror, because as you can see, it's a mirror, so that if you need to show the client what their makeup looks like, they can hold it up if they need to apply anything. It's a really good size mirror as well as a mixing palette, so I do like it for that, and I do recommend it just for that reason. And then I got this RCMA foundation thinner. The reason I got this is because, and it's a good thing I did, this kind of makes the products a little bit more liquidy and a little more blendable, and it kind of makes the products go a little bit further. I do recommend this if you decide to go with a cream foundation or like a palette like the ones I have, where it makes it spread easier. I don't notice it really taking away any pigmentation or coverage or anything. This just kind of helps to not use as much. And then I have mascara wands. I highly recommend getting your mascara wands on eBay, because in stores usually the biggest packs you can find, or that I've found, have been like packs of 12 or packs of 24, but online you can get them for like a crazy cheap amount and get a ton. Like, I think these are 50 pieces or 100 pieces, I'm not really sure. They look like 50 pieces, and these were like $3 or $6. I think it was like $3. You have time to wait, order from China, and save yourself some money, because usually they're like $1 or $2. And plus on eBay you can find a wide variety of different like mascara wands and like different types of wands, so that's always nice. And then the next thing I got, I really don't use this a whole lot, but it's so beautiful if you do. This is Gleam by Melanie Mills, I believe. Yeah, this is a body radiance lotion, so this is really beautiful to put along the décolleté area, or the neck, or the chest, or the shoulders, or something. It gives you such a beautiful gold glow. When you first squeeze it out, I don't want to use a whole lot because I don't want to waste it. This was like $12 or $14 for this little trial size, but when you first squeeze it out, I'll do a little small size right there, it's like yellow, and I was like, what? That's not gonna look good. But when you rub it out, it turns into such a beautiful gold glow. Even when I put it on my hand, it doesn't look that good, but when you're actually putting it on the chest or the neck or this region right here, I mean, it looks so pretty. I definitely think something like this is worth checking out. Another thing that most people will not tell you in videos like this, where they're telling you recommendations for your makeup artist kit, you need some kind of like little money bag. And if I didn't have this on me, I probably wouldn't have really thought about it until I actually needed it. I got my money in here. I got some dollar bills. I'll be popping that dollar. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps you out, especially if you're a makeup artist who needs to build your kit. It really takes a lot of trial and error and research. I spent hours upon hours of research trying to get the most affordable price as possible and trying to get the most high quality products. So I hope this video helps you guys out. So thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me today. Thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe, follow me on all my social media. All the links are below, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Mwah!